everybody out. This is a carjack.
Well, of course this is a car, but my name's not Jack.
I think he has a flat tire. He must need a jack.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. History repeats itself. It's often a cycle. It often does the same thing over and over again. A lot of people look to Rome these days, but we should really be looking at the Bolshevik Revolution of 1918 in Russia to see what's coming. Peter Wrangel, who's a Russian historian who witnessed the Bolshevik Revolution firsthand, writes of the elites in Russia. Social life followed its usual course, and it seemed as if these people were merely to be the spectators and not the victims of the drama to come. Of course, the elites and the leftists and the liberals of Russian society would face horrible consequences in Stalin's Russia and in Lenin's Russia, and the Bolsheviks would inevitably come for them too. The point of this story is careful what you wish for, careful what you cheer for, careful the consequences of your own actions will hurt you as well. Gravity affects us all, and we are now learning that in Washington, D.C. The communist hellscape that I escaped my family, and I fled Washington, D.C. as we watched them defund their police. We watched crime skyrocket. We watched mobs maraud through the city with reckless abandon. They don't tell you about the hundreds of nights of BLM protests and the incredible amounts of carjackings and murders and the burning down of the White House and the burning down of St. John's Episcopal Church, and now the carjacking of a Democrat congressman in Washington, D.C., inside of a very nice area, a place called Navy Yard, very fancy little area where a lot of members of Congress live. Henry Cuellar from Texas was carjacked in Washington, D.C. Now, this man is simply a victim of his own party's politics. Watch CNN covering the story.
All right, I do want to get now back to some breaking news that we mentioned earlier. Democratic Congressman Henry Cuellar is safe after he was carjacked at gunpoint outside of his residence in Washington, D.C. Our own Manu Raju has the latest on this. Manu, what do we know about this terrifying incident?
Oh, terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying indeed.
How could it possibly happen?
Congressman Cuellar was outside in the Navy Yard area of Washington, D.C., which, of course, is not too far from the Capitol. And I am told, along with my colleague Haley Talbot, we're told from multiple sources that there was an armed carjacking, that there were two men who had guns, 3 men swarmed the car, and Congressman Cuellar was pulled out of the car, and his car was stolen.
Well, wait a second. But D.C. is like a zero-gun zone. Remember? It's like impossible to get a gun in D.C. You can't get a gun. They make it impossible to get it. So of course, this Texas congressman, Democrat, wasn't armed, but his carjackers were. It's almost like the only people with guns will be the criminals.
Tonight, a member of Congress has reportedly just been carjacked at gunpoint in the Navy Yard area of Washington, D.C. Now, this is according to sources. These that you're looking at on screen are live pictures. As you might imagine, there is a heavy police presence. The member is Democratic Congressman Henry Cuellar of Texas. As you can imagine, the large police presence on scene. Axios is now reporting that the car or the location here is near a dorm that houses dozens of members of Congress in that Navy Yard area. The Axios reporter said at least 3 suspects were involved and that Cuellar's phone and vehicle were taken during this incident. We, of course, will keep you updated on this. We'll check back in with the live pictures, and we'll find out if we can get Congressman Cuellar to come on and give us his take.
Well, Congressman Cuellar did go and speak to the cameras. C-SPAN has Congressman Cuellar recounted his experience last night getting carjacked in D.C. Have a listen to the Democrat, again, facing the wonderful consequences of his own party's actions.
Happened and how you found out?
Yeah, I was just coming into my place. 3 guys came out of nowhere, and they pointed guns at me. I do have a black belt, but I recognize when you got three guns. I looked at one with a gun, another with a gun, and one behind me. So they said they wanted my car. I said, sure, you got to keep calm in those situations. And then they took off. They recovered the car. They recovered everything. What really got me upset was they took my sushi. But anyway, that's something else. And they did recover the sushi after all. But anyway, I do want to thank the Capitol Police, and I certainly want to thank the Metro Police. I'm a big law enforcement person. I got 3 brothers that are law enforcement, so I certainly...
So hold on, shut up. It's your party that is in full unilateral control of Washington, D.C. I remember voting in Washington, D.C., and the people had never seen a Republican before. They, everyone clapped and applauded because they'd never seen a Republican come into their voting station and vote for. So this is a single, uniparty, unified, one-party state. And these are the results. And everyone is now bitching about these results. But what will you do to change them? Will you vote Republican? Of course not.
Street neighborhood in Northwest D.C. is busy and vibrant. But some residents tell News 4 violence has been affecting their quality of life.
Vehicles tearing around up on sidewalks, running red lights, tearing around, making noise at 4 in the morning. People can't sleep. And there's just a feeling we've lost control of the streets. Jeffrey Willis moved here nearly 2 decades ago. He's concerned he can't get more information about 3 violent crimes that happened here over the weekend. A stabbing on U Street Saturday night, a double shooting on U Street early Sunday morning, and a double stabbing a little more than an hour later. We're not looking to lock everybody up, but just if people are making noise, if they're making trouble, we need to move them along and remind them that folks live here. Would you do this at your mother's house? Police arrested a Prince George's County teenager in connection with the shooting.
Yes, of course they would.
Second suspect. Neighbors we spoke to say they get it. They live in a city. They know there's going to be traffic. It's going to be noisy. There's going to be crime. But they say this feels different, and it feels like it's getting worse. Some would also like to see tighter restrictions on some of the bars on 9th Street and for police and elected leaders to do more.
Living in the middle of the city is inherent with some risk. You understand that that's going to be a part of your daily life, but the violence has gotten out of control.
The violence has gotten out of control. Oh, okay. You're right, by the way. What are you going to do about it? You going to vote? You going to vote away from your precious Democrat Party? You going to leave your cult? No, of course not. Of course not. In March, Democrat D.C. Councilman Phil Mendelson said there is not a crime crisis in Washington, D.C. Check this out from the district's own Metropolitan Police website. 2023 year-to-date comparison. Homicide is up 38% in Washington, D.C. Homicide's up 30%. Robbery is up 68%. Violent crime is up 39% total. Motor vehicle theft is up 100%. Arson is up 125%. It is arson, an act of arson, actually, that led my family to flee Washington, D.C. They burned down a known drug house. That was my next-door neighbors. I had a row house, and so it was right next door to me. So I could get up and get the hell out of there. I love that this is happening for one little reason. One, I mean, I'm not there anymore, thank God. But two, because now Democrats who have near unified control of government can again see and witness firsthand the results of their policies up close and personal. So there was a leftist activist in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, that was shot and killed in his own home. 2 days after mocking Scott Adams for predicting violent crime surge in the U.S., left-wing Philadelphia journalist was shot and killed. Liberal activist was stabbed to death this morning by an unnamed stranger in Brooklyn, New York. His partner at the city council wrote a very brief statement to mourn his passing with zero mention of what actually happened. Such Marxist monsters. His name's Ryan Carson. He was 32. That's exactly what a leftist environmental advocate looks like. If you're an environmental advocate, why are you living in downtown Manhattan? Filthiest place on earth. 32-year-old man stabbed to death near a bus stop on Malcolm X Boulevard. Wow, how poignant and ironic. He was one of the rising stars for the environmental movement in New York. Here's a photo. Here's a photo of this city councilwoman standing there next to him, and she says, his passing, we're devastated to hear about his passing today, as though he just died in his sleep. Nope. Died due to crime policies of the left. Anti-cop Minnesota Democrat left bloodied after violent carjacking now calls for tougher crime laws. You remember this, of course, photo. From Savati Savanandra, Minnesota Democrat, Farmer Labor Party, communist, shared news of the violent attack, even though she has declared we must dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department on Facebook. Very proud of that. Ladies and gentlemen, do not think that I'm going to shed a single tear for you. I, as ever, want everyone to live safely and happy lives in America. That means law and order. That means locking up criminals. It means putting people in prison. You hear those guys on the streets of D.C.? And we don't really want to put everyone in jail. We just want them to stop doing bad things. Oh, really? Well, how are you going to do that exactly? Sit them down and talk to them? Have you ever tried that? Buckaroo, buddy? No. This is not how it works. You're not living in reality. And the dystopia that they are creating for America is really bad. This is why we moved to a red state. We're going to do a very, very safe area of a red state. It's going to get worse. Get out of the cities. Life advice from your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe to end the communism that is, of course, causing such horrors across our land. See ya.